Awesome. Another question I had was you've coached in some pretty interesting places all around the world at the highest levels. What's some of your favorite places that you've coached at?
So I think because my sister won the junior world championships, I've always had this really big respect and excitement for the junior worlds. It's the gateway to senior world and Olympic success. If you look at the results over the last 30 years, it's just there's a cause and effect there. I've been lucky enough. So USA Judo, specifically through between 2011 and 2020, I coached over 30 times Team USA for USA Judo at the junior level, all ages juniors, from the littles at the infantile Pan Ams to the cadets, which are U18, to the juniors, which are U21, and then the Paralympic team for athletes with visual impairment, and then a couple times with the senior team all over the world. But I was lucky enough to be junior world head coach 3 times. And again, just because it's such a tough tournament, so many future Olympic medalists and world champions were there. Those were great. One that sticks out for sure is 2011 Junior World Championships in Cape Town, South Africa. It was my first one. Menominee had both 73. We were allowed to send 2 athletes per division that time. We had both 73 kilo players at that tournament. Andrew Boogie Varga and Max Schneider, who a lot of people know from jiu-jitsu, judo, and wrestling. And I got to coach Max and Boogie at Cape Town, and the winner of that division was Shohei Ono. So, like, the fact that Shohei Ono was in a division with 2 of our athletes at the Junior World Championships in Cape Town, South Africa, that was a pretty cool moment, I'd say, for all 3 of us. And I was able to buy Shohei Ono and Takata, who's one of my all-time favorite players, McDonald's later that trip. So that's a highlight. Also, was able to coach the Junior Worlds in Abu Dhabi, which was really cool, just because I'd never been to that part of the world, and it was just a unique experience. And then in 2017, I think, yes, 2017, we had Max Antonou, Mackenzie Williams, who was a member of our club that time, awesome, and John Jane, who was training at our club, was more of an unattached athlete, but at the University of Chicago at the time, but was at our club, and I was able to coach them all. Now, Max has been with me since he was 5, and so Max was a first-year cadet, 15, making the Junior Worlds, which was unique and cool and really a great experience. And then John was the #1 ranked junior in the world and made it to the bronze medal match. And so I was able to coach a bronze medal match at the Junior Worlds, John against Japan. He ultimately lost, but that's a pretty cool. You got to suit up for the medal matches. And so, yeah, those are Junior Worlds were all cool, but we've also taken full Menominee teams to Denmark twice for the Danish Open, which was really cool, and to the Flanders Cup in Belgium, strictly Menominee athletes with a couple scragglers who we loved. And, I've coached Team USA a ton, and it's been such a cool experience. But there is something when you bring your own athletes that have been with you, because Team USA for judo is a little different. Usually our teams are athletes from all over the country who you don't train with on a regular basis. So I built relationships traveling with the group for almost a decade, but I wasn't their club coach, wasn't their
Mhm.
main coach. So when we took our athletes, so like coaching Mikey Mutz at the Cadet World Championships in Santiago, Chile, he beats Australia the first round. I'd been with Mikey the whole time since his first class. Same with Max. Manny and Max fought for the gold medal at the Danish Open. They both been with me since their very first judo class. So those are some of the really cool things. To be honest, like, the accolades are great, the tournaments are great, the medals are fantastic, but it's the relationships that you build over time at the dojo. I think we have a real family like atmosphere at the dojo. I'd like to believe it's a pretty unique culture. And yeah, so those are the lasting impressions and memories I have, are just going to battle with the athletes. I don't think by any stretch I'm the most technical coach of all, but I think with the athletes, and athletes from all clubs, specifically when I was coaching Team USA, 5, 6, 7 times a year, would request me a lot of times to sit for them because they know I'll go to battle with them. There's no way I won't fight to the end for the athlete. Whether it's putting my neck out on the line with the referees sometimes, with the tournament directors, which has not always worked in my favor, but I always have the athletes back. And I think that trust that you build goes a long way. I think the athletes have a lot more inside them than they even realize. And I've been pretty successful at helping them, get that last 10% out of them when they don't think they have it, that's led to some pretty great things. By the way, forgetting, Natalia Stanijevic. Natalia is one of our all-time great players. She won the Flanders Cup, the gold medal match in 12 seconds over a player, either from South Africa or England, one of those, and huge hurrah. And she's just a great player. And then obviously been lucky enough to coach Nefeli Papadakis, not as often as I'd like, because she was traveling with the adult team, and I wasn't on staff most of the time with that, but she was our first Olympian, Tokyo 2021, because of the pandemic, and such a professional, on-point gripper. And we had between para, so athletes with visual impairment, cadets, U18, juniors, U21, and seniors, adults in judo, we'd had over a 8-year period, 7-year period, we'd had over 30 world team members. But having an Olympian definitely takes your club, especially because, right, the last 2 Olympics, USA Judo has been able to qualify 4 athletes, I think, in each of the last 2 Olympics. So it's not like it's that easy. The senior tour, the IGF tour is so difficult. It takes consistent results, traveling all over the world, putting your life on hold except for training, and a ton of money too. So to have an Olympian definitely gives you carte blanche a little. I mean, it's a big deal. And so Nefeli producing like she did against these giant 78 kilo, women, 6 foot tall women from the Netherlands. She's a great player, great athlete, really excited for her. She was already a fantastic high level international player before she came to the club. We'd never take credit. We just augmented what she already had and tried to add to what she already had and support her in any way we could. And we had a ton of good training partners for her. But yeah, I mean, just some of the athletes, and I'm missing a million. I mean, I'm missing literally a million. Howard Wilson, Rob Anderson, now you, Gary, Maya, Joe DeFrino, Gabe Rubel, Adam Eckert, so many great athletes as members of the club. And it just happened organically. Like it was never a plan. I did want to be a top, highly competitive club, and I didn't see any reason, looking at the judo in the United States at the time, I didn't see any reason why we couldn't be a highly competitive club, but I never thought we'd be as competitive as we are, if I'm being totally honest. It just, we started as a boys and girls club, or we're still with a boys and girls club. And the athletes, when I first started, the boys and girls club only accepted children up to 12. So we'd get these players competitive, and at age 13, we'd have to hand them off to other dojos, which was a total bummer. So now the fact that we have athletes up to 75 years old is great.